Hey, welcome back to the Simple Man's Workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble a GHI 48-inch vanity. These are known as flat pack or RTA, ready to assemble cabinet. So let's get started. The tools you're going to need for this project are a straight screwdriver, some kind of wood glue, a Phillips screwdriver or a cordless drill with a Phillips bit, a non-marring mallet. Mine's not non-marring, so what I do is I put blue tape on it and it works just as good. I use a pin nailer. It's really not necessary if you have the glue. This just kind of helps stuff hold in place better, but the glue alone will do great. And a clamp, sometimes you need to pull that cam lock together just a little bit so you can tighten it up good. These are all the tools you're going to need to assemble that vanity. So the first thing we're going to do is get our 4 boxes of drawer glides, and we're going to cut them open. I'll just cut one of them open. And then we're going to get that hardware out, but we're getting this bracket out that mounts to the back of the vanity for the drawer glides. So that's a primary thing we need, is that bracket right there. So we're going to pull our brackets apart and get that part right there off of all 4 brackets. And then we can assemble the back part of the vanity. All right, now that we've got all those taken off of the brackets, we want to get into one of these packets, or probably 2 of them, and there's screws in here. So we want to get a couple of these packs of screws. And these screws, you need to pay attention because there's 2 different size screws in here. The little bitty ones will go with this. The larger size ones are going to go on this. So you'll need to sort the smaller ones and larger ones and put the smaller ones aside so when we build the drawer boxes. I've got 8 small ones here, which means I'm going to be able to do 2 drawer boxes off of this, which is correct because I opened 2 drawer box packs. Now I take these screws, set them to the side so I can lay the back on top of my workbench here. All right, now we grab the back of the vanity. We'll lay it down with all the holes that are positioned here facing up. This is your back inside of your vanity. This is where your drawer glides are going to attach to the back of the cabinet. Lay it up like that right there. Then we'll get all these brackets and snap them in with the bracket down like that, not the bracket up. The bracket will come down, snap in. It'll always be down, not up. So you snap all these brackets into these holes to set up for all 4 drawers, just like that right there. So I wanted to explain to you better what I meant by the bracket being down and not up. This is the floorboard of your cabinet. This would be down like this, in this position, not like this position. So you want to make sure when you snap it in these holes that this is down. We snap it in just like that right there. So those screws we sorted a while ago, we want to get the larger of the 2, and we need at least 16 of them because there's 2 screws per bracket and there's 8 brackets here. So you want to slide every bracket to one side. That way we can get to the screw hole there. Then after we shoot those, we slide them to the other side and shoot the other side, and then we'll be complete with the back. So that's complete. This is one of those times, if you don't have the cordless drill, you could use a Phillips screwdriver. Now we're going to set this to the side for the time being. And we're going to grab the face front with the doors already mounted on it. Then you want to lay it face down, just like that. Always either make sure I have cardboard or some of that foam that comes packed. That way you're protecting the front of the cabinet also. Now that we have the face front up here, we're going to put glue in each one of these grooves, and then we're going to set the side panel on there and tighten the cam lock down. When you tighten a cam lock down, you only have to do a half turn. If you do more or squeeze harder than a half turn, you could break that cam. So make sure all you're doing is a half turn. So we run some glue right down through here. Take the side panel. This is the right-hand panel. We'll set it on the cam locks, just like that. Take your straight screwdriver and turn it, half turn, and you'll feel a pretty good stop point. It'll make it to where you really don't want to go any further. And if you do, you are going to break that cam. So right there is the right side. Simple as that. The glue's going to set up and hold that. And it's going to be more than just a mechanical. It's going to be glued also. So we're going to do this side. A bead of glue. And we're going to grab this left-hand panel. Set it on the cams. Sometimes you got to kind of push it so it'll rest into those cams. Then a half turn's all we want, right there. And you can feel that stop point right there. That's it. So now we're going to install the floorboard. And there's two ways that this floorboard can install. So we want to make sure we get it in the right direction. This side, the cam lock is flush with the plywood. And this side, the cam lock is set back about a 1/4 inch. So if you remember a while ago when we did the back panel with the drawer brackets, it had that groove in it. That's where this goes. So we want to make sure it's up and this side is going down. So like this right here, when we slide it in these grooves, drop it in, then we get our flat screwdriver and we half turn right here. Now we got the floorboard set. We're going to install the toe kick now. On the back side of the toe kick, there's a cam lock. It goes into the cam locks right here, right there. And on this side right here, again, a half turn. Right there is all you got to do. Come over here and a half turn. Toe kick is installed. Now we're going to put the back panel on. The panel that we put the brackets on for the drawer glides earlier, it's going to slide on here. This panel right here is what rests in those grooves that was in that back panel. So we'll slide it in and those grooves will rest right here and our cam locks will drop in place in 4 spots. And we want to make sure they drop in place and then we tighten them down with a half turn. We get the panel and you want to get it lined up with your groove. Just let it slowly rest. Rest it on that groove and then you'll need to come around and work your cams into place. There's one cam. There's another cam. There we go. Sometimes you got to push this little groove a little better. There we go. Now it went in. Just like that. Now you want to half turn all these cams down. Sometimes you'll experience needing to put a little tension on a cam. That's where I'm at right now. So as I told you earlier, sometimes you'll need to clamp, and this is what I'm talking about. If you experience a cam that you're trying to turn, but it's really stopping and you feel like it's not rotating, don't force it. Stop, and sometimes it'll be a little gap in it, and you've got to close that gap up. Let me show you what I mean. It will zoom in on this thing, and you can see that little bitty tiny gap in there. It's about 1/8 of an inch. You want to make sure it's as tight as possible. So what I do is I'll take a clamp like this, bring it in here. Let me turn it around. And if you tighten it down, you're bringing that cam together. And then the possibilities of this thing turning easier because there's not any major tension is really good. See, there goes that half turn, a lot easier right there. There's my half turn. We finished the 2 cam locks under the floorboard that hold the back on. Now we're going to do the 2 cam locks that hold the back on inside the cabinet. This one right here and that one right over there. All you have to do is make sure the cam lock is pushed into place, hold it down, put your flat screwdriver in there and half turn it. I know I keep saying half turn. That's how these are designed, is a half turn only. Doing 3/4 turns not going to make it any tighter. Only a half turn or you're possibly going to break that cam. So let's do the half turn here, just like that. Now that's secure. All right, so I dumped out the hardware and I sorted the knobs, pulls, and screws for the knobs and pulls back into the bag. And all I needed was the 2 little L brackets and the screws that went with the L brackets. So that's what we're going to need next. This is a board that'll be in parts you haven't used yet. It's 4.5 by 18.5. It's going to be a support bracket for under the floorboard. As you can see, I put one of these little L brackets flush right here about midway point, and then here the L bracket flush and closer to the top. So when we tuck it in, it'll catch here and it'll catch down there, and it's a support for your floorboard. So we put it in there. We just eyeball it to the center. I've got a screw in my drill right now already, so we're going to see if I can shoot this thing. Go in, and just like that, I've got another screw right here. Then you'll want to try to square it up as good as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's never going to be seen. So you'll shoot this, line it up, get it in there, shoot it. Now your support's on. We're going to stand it up so we can see where the drawers fit in. Now, when you're doing this, be careful because those doors will flip open as you slide it out. So make sure you put your hand under there to hold your doors closed as you're raising it up. So you'll rest your hands on the door, bring it up, and then slide it forward. Otherwise, you may damage your doors. So each one of these glide sets come with a left and a right. See the grooves in the bracket back there? Those grooves in the bracket and this U-shape will slide together. So we'll pick this bracket up, slide it into that groove, and then up front, all we do is flush it to the face front. That's it. I'll show you the other side. We're going to go over here. You see the grooves in the bracket? I'm going to pick up this, set it in those grooves, then slide this forward and flush it up. That little small hole on the bottom is the hole that you're going to use to put your screw in. It's the same screw you used when you put those back brackets on right there. That larger screw, when we sorted the screws, will be the same screw you use on the front part of the brackets. I'm going to show you how to shoot one of these screws in, and then I'll be back with you after I get them all shot in. But the biggest key is make sure this bracket is all the way down on it. Then you put your screw in the center and put pressure, and then slowly push against it and let it pull it in and pull it tight. Don't do real hard with your drill because you could strip it out. And once you hit that bottom point, that's it. Flush, you're good to go. Well, the box is assembled and all the glides are in, so now all we have to do is build the drawer boxes. All right, let's assemble the drawer box. I've got foam on my table to protect the face front of this drawer. So when you're doing this, make sure you use some of the foam out of the packing to protect it. I've got your sides, your back, and your bottom. On GHI, they have a stamp here of their brand name, and I always make sure to put it top and front. So when I put it in, it's at the front of the cabinet when you open the drawer. So I've got that position there, this position here, we're ready to go. So now we put a little bit of glue right here and right here. You don't have to glue the entire joint on a dovetail joint. It's a super strong joint anyway. If you want to glue the whole joint, that's fine. But when I assemble them, I glue the top groove and the bottom groove and tap it together, and then I tack it with a pin nail. So I put a dab of glue right here and a dab of glue right here. Then I take the side, put it in here, and here's the reason for the mallet. Tap that dovetail joint flush, and this is the pin nail. I'll shoot one pin nail at the top and one pin nail at the bottom, and that holds it until the glue dries. So now let's do the other side. One dab of glue right here, one dab of glue right here. Turn this up. You can almost tap it in with your hand, but get your mallet, tap it in nice and flush, and then I'm using a 1-inch pin nail. I shoot one pin nail in there, and it holds the joint together till the glue dries. Now, you've got your drawer bottom. You've got an unfinished edge and a finished edge. So let's do the finished up front so it's inside the box. We drop it in like that. Now let's do the back. What we'll do is the same thing. We'll put one dab of glue right there, a dab of glue right there. We'll do both sides on this one because we got to spread it apart and feed them both in at the same time. So we do both sides, and then we'll rotate it around, fit this groove over the back. Now we got to spread it apart, and then we'll tap it together. Like I said, you can almost tap it together without your mallet. There. Sometimes you got to turn it up on edge like this. You can get it tapped in really good. Now we've got it tapped in. I'll shoot one pin nail right there, and then I pull it, one pin nail right there. Same thing over here, one pin nail right there. Now this drawer box is complete. Okay, now we're going to put the clips for the glides on. These are the clips for the glides. The way I can tell which one's the left and right is this little green clip will go to the inside. So that and that, that's how they work, like that right there. Those short screws that we sorted earlier, those are the screws we need now. So you'll use your drill, do the screw. There's a hole right here and a hole right here, and we'll shoot them in. There's one. All right, that one's in. We'll do the second one here. Just hold it into the corner, shoot it in. All right, now the clips are on. So I'm going to finish the other three, and I'll show you how to clip them into the vanity. We have all the drawers built, so now we're going to put the drawers in. So all you have to do, there's some little grooves here. All you have to do is rest them in there on the glides, slide it all the way to the back, and you'll hear a click. When it clicks, those glides are in place. Now when you draw it out, push it back in, the soft close works. I'm going to put all four of them in, and I'll come back and talk to you. That's full assembly of the GHI Concord Blue 48 vanity. If you like this video, like, follow, and share the Simple Man's Workshop, because I'm always putting new videos out there, and you'll be updated when I post another one. Thanks a lot.